Hello everyone, welcome to the June multi-card workshop, this time featuring Tartan foil from Stampin Up. We have some cards here, and if you took the class or if you took the kit to go, I'm going to go through a few things here with you. If you did not, you are welcome to play along with what you have at home. If you would like the cutting guide, it is available for purchase, whether that's just to purchase the cutting guide or if you are making a purchase on my Stampin Up website that matches the cost of the cutting guide, and then the cutting guide will be free. So if you have any questions about that, you can go ahead and comment on the video or comment below, and I'll get back to you in that way. So that said, let's get started here. I like to say this is the last class of the year because I'm a teacher, and so this is June, and June is the end of the year for us, and it really isn't the end of 2024, but it's just what we do when we're a teacher. So this is the last one. I take off July and August when I start to make new samples, new classes, new card kits, some scrapbook layouts, but stay tuned because I will be doing a whole bunch online as well. So free for everyone, play along with what you have at home. There's no reason to buy things when it's a simple card or a simple layout when we all have so much at home. The classes, however, those are paid classes. So there's a difference between the two. Make sure that you have followed and liked the Facebook page, not group, Denise's Creative Cave. I think it's card and layout classes. There's a picture of me as opposed to a picture of my Robbie. So that's how you know you're on the right page. It's a business page, not a group. The group is going away at the end of August. So just a heads up. All right, so let's get down to it. You have your kit. Now, some of you pre-cut your kit and took it home to complete. Some of you bought the kit and then I pre-cut some of these things for you. So your kit is not going to look exactly like the cutting guide. I did write in there, if you left your kit for me to cut, that, you know, what I cut for you and what you still have to cut, because all I was cutting was the sentiments and the dies that you didn't have at home. So everything else you're still cutting, and that's in your kit. So once you've cut everything, that's the time to come back here and watch the video. So I'm going to go in order of the card numbers. So this is card number 1. I will say that when you cut this foil paper, I normally tell people to put the number on the back. In this case, I wouldn't, because the paper, it's got a little coating to it. You may or may not be able to get the pencil mark off without a smudge. And it really depends. I mean, if you're doing them exactly the way I am, then okay, you go ahead and put numbers on them very lightly and maybe in the middle so you won't see it, as opposed to like a corner somewhere, because you may decide to flip it over, because this paper is reversible and I've used both sides many of the times. So I don't want you to get stuck and now you have a smudge and you don't know what to do with it. So I don't recommend pencil on this particular paper. I do, however, have no problem with recommending it on the plain cardstock itself. In addition, the girls today used tape runners, and the tape runners went fine. Remember, I have said in previous videos, I really did not like that you can see the glue lines. I use liquid glue all the time, and you can really see the glue lines through this paper, which did not make me happy. But the tape runner worked fine. I'm not that good the first time around. I like a little wiggle room, literally, with liquid glue. And another of the girls had a paintbrush that they used, and they painted it. So, you know, fanned it out kind of and put the glue on, and then painted it with the paintbrush so that it was smooth and not a bump. And they said it worked just great, and I couldn't see her lines either. So maybe that's the key to this. So with all of that said, let's get moving. These two, I'm going to move these out of the way. You have 12 5x7 card bases that you're making. So again, you're going to cut the paper, the white paper that you have there for your bases. You're going to cut the 11-inch side to 10 inches. You're going to cut the 8.5-inch side to 7 inches. I'm sorry, I'm thinking, I want to make sure I get it right. So the 8.5-inch side, you're cutting down to 7 inches. The 10-inch side, the 11-inch side, you're cutting to 10 inches, and you're going to score that 10-inch side at 5 inches. And you're going to do that with 12 of the 15 sheets that came in your kit. The other 3 we'll get to together. So these are both number 1. It's just reverse. This is the reverse side of this paper, and so on. If you bought the kit done, or if you were here, then you have the sentiments cut, you have a bag with gems, so you can do whatever you need with them, or whatever you would like or not. I did with a square punch, make the banner. You can do it with a scissor, of course, with a square punch. I'm not that great at it, but I like the banner look. So you are taking then all of the pieces that say number 1. So you'll have the gray, right? And the Lost Lagoon, the gray is Pebbled Path, I think it was. I'm sorry, I'm still not up on all the names. So you have the solid cardstock, you have the white, you have the Lost Lagoon Plaid, and you have the Pebbled Path Plaid. I hope I'm saying that name right. And you're gonna layer them. Now again, on your cutting guide, it says what the sizes are. So you can go ahead on a handy mat like this. I recommend these highly. I love them. I use them all the time. I've used them forever with close to my heart. These are good for card sizes, not great for scrapbook sizes. They're just a little too small. They only go 10 inches on the one side. So, but for cards, these are great. So if you use this to measure out the pieces after you've cut them, because you haven't put marks on them because I told you not to, then just measure it out, pop it in the corner there, see what it measures to. And this will tell you it's 5 over here by 7 up there, or it's 4.5 by 6.5, or whatever it is. It's a very easy way to get that done. And everything is in 2s with the exception of card number 2. So you'll have 2 of each. So then you can just, judge by the size. So you're going to get all the pieces together that are listed in your cutting guide for card number 1. And the 1 is circled. And that's how you know what card it's for. It's 1 in a circle, a 2 in a circle, and it's for every single piece that's there. And then you're just going to layer these. And I'm sorry I'm not giving the dimensions for the cards, but that was for people who took the class, so you do have a way to see that because you have it in the cutting guide. Okay, so this is how I put it together. The Lost Lagoon is obviously a 5 by 7 because it covers the base. And then you've got a slightly smaller Pebbled Path, a slightly smaller white, a slightly smaller of the foil, the tartan foil Lost Lagoon, and then a little bit of a border there. You've got a smaller white, a slightly smaller gray Pebbled Path foil, and then you've got one of your lagoon squares, your Lost Lagoon squares. And you do the same thing on this card, except I did it with the opposite side of the paper. Now, if you don't like this, if you like the darker one, do 2 of the darker ones. You like this one and not the dark one, do 2 of the light ones. It's completely up to you. But you do have a white and a gray in your kit, so that's what you're using. Unless you substitute something that you have at home, and after you cut your kit, you may find that you have extra, but if I cut your kit, I've already cut into it to make these for you. Okay, so that was card number 1. Card number 2. Now this is our Fun Fold Slimline. So this measures, and it'll fit in a regular envelope, right? It measures 3.5 by 8.5. So what you're going to do with this one is you're going to take one of your white sheets of paper, one of the 3 that's left, because you've already made 12 5 by 7 bases, and cut that and save all those scraps because you're gonna maybe need them for die cutting, if you have some other project, or if you have something else to do with this, or you want to change the sentiment. So you're going to cut one of the 8.5 by 11 white sheets that you have left to 8.5 by 8.5, and you'll see here that this measures, well, you can't see it there, I'll move it this way, to 8.5, and then up top 8.5. So it's already 8.5 on one side. So you're cutting 8.5 off of the 11-inch side, and then you'll have a square. You are now going to, if you can see it here, I'm not sure that you can, you're going to put this in your scoreboard, and you are going to score at 2 inches and at 5.5 inches. So it's an 8.5-inch square that you've cut, right? You've left one side alone. the 8.5 inch side. You've cut 8.5 inches off of the 11 inch side. So now you have a square, 8.5 inches square. You're going to put it in your scoreboard, and you're going to score at 2 inches, and you're going to score at 5.5 inches. So when you close it, it's not going to be even. See, this is not going to meet, right? It's going to be a little short, and this is going to be roughly in the middle, though maybe not quite in the middle. So you have that. And of course, it will be all in white, so it will look different as you're doing it. Okay? So then what you've done is, if you have this piece, if you had enough left where you have that piece cut, then go right ahead. And some of you, if you cut here, you may have extra pieces, because it turns out I built in these pieces into the cutting guide and I didn't realize that. So if you have extra and you don't like the ones that you cut, or you missed something, or you want it, you know, cut differently now, just the next time you come over, just bring it over and we'll cut it again for you. Otherwise, now you're just building. So this is card number, got it right there, it's card number 2. So for card number 2, you're gonna go to your copper clay sheet cutting guide, because you have 1 sheet per color, including white. So you're going to go to that, you're going to look for where there is a 2 in parentheses, in a circle, and those are the pieces. So you have 2 smaller, you have 2 medium, you have 1 large, and that's what's going to fit here. They're all 8.25 inches high. That's why you have that border there, that little white border. So they're all 8.25 inches high, and then you have different widths to them. So the way I did it, and you can reverse them or do it however you want, I did dark side here, obviously. This is the biggest one. This is a smaller one. I did light side up. This is the medium size one. I did light side up. And again, I centered it as best as I could. I'm not great at it. Then I folded this in, and I did dark. This is a medium again. Dark. This is the smallest. And then when I attach this, I only glue on that one side, right? Only on this half. You don't want to glue the whole thing, or you glue it shut. You don't want that. So you're just going to glue on the outer edge here. It'll be fine. And then glue it on, close it, and then put it on so that you can wiggle it around to where you like it. Now, if you had enough, or you were here, or if I was able to cut yours enough to get this, great. And if not, then you just have a white, and you probably have the copper clay of the sentiment. It's fine, it's the same thing. But again, if you find that you have extra of the foil and you want to come over and do that, then we'll see when I'm home, and you are welcome to come over and cut that one piece. Make sure you bring it with you, because I don't have any extra of this paper. It came with the pack. Okay, so that's that. So this is number 3. So you're gonna follow the cutting guide for number 3, and notice we have 2 different colors here. So this is only going to be copper clay. This is only going to be pebbled path. You've got, and white, of course. So you've got the white, you've got your different sentiments. Now, this is a faux fractured card. So let me show you how we did this. You've got your, I'm gonna leave, I think this is probably less reflective. Nope, that. It turns out that is okay. So I am going, notice I did it 2 different ways. So you see, that's the same size square. I just covered it more here than I did there, and I'll tell you about that in a second. So you're gonna take your foil piece, don't attach it to your card base yet. You want to do that later. Don't do that now. You have to do this step first, and that's true for both of these. So you're going to take your copper plaid foil paper. We're gonna pretend that's this. And then you're going to take one of the white squares that you cut that has number 3 on it, because I always recommend you label as you go. And you're going, I'm using gray, just so, because that's what I had. And you're going to put it like a diamond shape there in the middle. And once you have that where you like it, I want you to glue it down. Okay. Once you glue it down, get the 1/4 inch strips that you cut from your guide. And here's, now yours are going to be longer because they're, 11 inches, and I'm just using scraps for what I have to show you. So here's how you're going to do it. You're going to take your first one, and you're going to line it up with the end of a square. You see how that's flat against it there? and it doesn't go any further, right? It's the same, okay? So you're gonna glue that down, and you're gonna leave this piece overhang. You're gonna glue that whole thing down. Now mine are not the same size pieces, so you'll get the idea. Now you're gonna take your next one, you're gonna put, again, liquid glue on the back, dry as clear glue, unless you're really good with a tape runner. Now you're going to butt your next one up against your square and against this one. Now yours, again, all of yours would be glued down so they wouldn't be moving around like mine. So you want it butted up directly against, see that? Like directly against. And you're going to continue that. We're just going to pretend here with the sizes. And you're going to continue that till you have that. Well, neater, of course. And then you're going to stick it to the side and let it dry a little bit. So while this part is drying, then go to your pebbled path and do the same exact thing. Put down your square first. Take your gray, because again, your squares are white. Line it up, and it doesn't matter which side you start on. I just happen to start on this side, and then glue it down. Let the edges overhang. Okay? All right, so once you're done with that, put that one to the side, and now go back to your first one, your copper one. And you're going to take the strips that you cut for card number 3 from the copper clay foil, and you're going to fit them right in. So you're just gonna pop it right here, right, butt it right up against. It's a little challenging without gluing it down, I'm sorry. Butt it right up against that one. Glue it all the way across, okay? And this, in theory, is glued down and straight and everything else. And then you're going to take your next piece and you're going to do the same thing. And then you're going to take your next one, do it here, your next one, do it here, and just leave it for a second so that it sets a little bit, and then move it to the side and repeat with the gray or the pebble path. And after, now the pebble path, again, you're doing on the foil, you're not attaching these to the 5x7 card bases yet. Because after these are dry, because you may have glue over here or off the page over here on those because you didn't know how far it would go, and that's normal. So after it's dry, you're gonna flip it over. And when you know your glue is dry and dry to the touch, you can either with your trimmer, I do it with a scissor, just cut it off. That's it, cut off the excess so that you still have that piece here. So you see how mine is flush with the dark piece. Right? There's nothing overhanging. And again, here too, it's flush with the layer of the dark. There's nothing overhanging. You just see that little hint of the matte of white. That's the card base. I do it with a large scissor. This is one time I don't use a micro tip scissor, because if I do a larger scissor, it's one cut. Now, if you prefer a trimmer and you're good with a trimmer, feel free. I am not that good with the trimmer. I'll end up cutting the card and I'll be all upset. So I use a scissor and I'm good. You use whatever you want. So after you're dry and after you've done that, then take your piece and attach it to your card base. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's a faux fractured card. All right. So this is card number 4. And again, they are the same. They are just mirror images of each other. On this one, I did put the blue higher just to see which one I like better. This one, the foil is directly in the middle of that strip. And in this one, the foil is here with the blue up here. And so I just did it 2 different ways. You do it however you would like. So these are the pieces then for card number 4. So you'll have 2 of each. And you're going to layer. You're going to start with your cardstock Lost Lagoon, your solid. You're going to go to your pebbled path, no matter which side you're using. Then you're going to go to your cardstock of pebbled path. Again, the ones that should be labeled or are on your cutting guide as card number 4, the 4 in a circle. Then you're going to go to your Lost Lagoon plaid for card number 4. So again, these are all rectangles. Then you're going to go to one of the strips that you cut for card number 4 of the solid cardstock of Lost Lagoon, and the strip that you cut from the Pebbled Path foil. That also, again, says number 4 in a circle on your cutting guide. And then you're just gonna layer. That's all you're gonna do. So put that there. And these cards have been posted a couple of times, so you'll be able to see them. But I will go through these one last time, and I'll do them one at a time so that you can pause at the end if you need to go through. So don't worry if it's too fast for you, because that's the beauty of video, right? You can pause it, rewind it, do whatever you need. So this is card number 5. So on your, and again, it's just the reverse image. So on your Lost Lagoon foil, you're going to find the 2 pieces that you cut for card number 5. It has a 5 in parentheses, so just check out that size. And again, if you need to, you know, pop it there. This size is 3 3/4 by 7. So you see how that fits right in there through, 3 3/4 by 7. It's the easiest way to do with this. I think people can buy these. If you don't have any, I highly recommend getting a pad. They're not really that expensive. They are disposable, but they are also reusable depending on what you do. If you ink on them, I toss mine. But for something just like measuring cards, I use it over and over again. You've got your strip that is 7 inches tall that you cut. Again, card number 5. Then you've got your thicker strip for card number 5. Again, you've got 2 of each of these. And then you've got your Lost Lagoon foil strip that you cut. Again, it's 2 of them. And then you're just building. Now, I did do the foil paper first, and I did it up to the edge of my card. And then I put glue. I didn't put glue on the strip of cardstock because I'm just not that good and I'm not that steady. But instead, I just put a little, very thin line of glue right down next to where I have my foil paper, and then I put my little piece over it so that I could still wiggle it around, but the glue was on the card and I knew that it was secure. And then I just did these. Now yours may have, on one of them, it may have where it is the same size, the cardstock and the foil, and that was because if you wanted the foil to be the background instead of the cardstock, you could do that. All you have to do is cut a 1/4 inch off the piece that you want in the front. I'm not sure if that's this one or not, but you'll know if you put them together and they're the same size. You're gonna pick whichever one. I use the cardstock in the back and the foil in the front, so I cut a 1/4 inch off. That way I could still see just a little hint of the cardstock behind. And the same thing with this. All right, so card number 6. Card number 6 is a mini slim, well, are mini slims, I should say. So here is what you're doing with this. You're going to take your last 2 full sheets of white paper, the 8.5 by 11, and you're going to cut, you see here that they are, I hope you see here, that they are 6 1/4 long. So you are going to, on the 11 inch, no, I'm sorry, the 8.5 inch side, you are going to cut off a piece that is 6 1/4 by 11. It'll be by 11 when you're done. So it'll be 6 1/4 by 11. And do that to both pieces that are left. And after you've done that, turn your paper. So now you're going to cut 7 inches off the 11 inch side. 7 inches off the 11 inch side. So when you're done, your paper will be, I'm going to put these right on top of each other because these are just things, so they're just fronts. So your paper will be like this. It will be 6 1/4 by 7. So you'll have 2 that are like that. And you're going to, on the 7 inch side, score each at 3.5. And then what you'll get is this mini slim. So now all you have to do is go to your copper clay cardstock that you cut, your copper clay foil that you cut, the die cuts that are in there or that you cut, and all you have to do is layer. Now, this time I did use some foam tape. I don't know if you can see that in between for this one. You don't have to. I did not use it on a lot of them, but I did on this because I just kind of thought it needed it. It was something different. So you are just using the pieces for card number 6. That's it. And you're just layering. Card number 7. I did these with the same, except you see one is a square and one is in the diamond shape, so it's got the square sort of turned, because I liked it that way. Now your white may be larger than mine and you may wish to cut that down. Feel free if you do, if you don't want as big of a border. I decided I did not, so I did cut mine 1/2 inch on 2 sides for both of them, but that is completely up to you. There is no right or wrong here. So again, this is card number 7. So you're going to go to your Lost Lagoon pile and you're going to find your solid Lost Lagoon that you cut for card number 7. Again, it's a 7 in a circle. You have 2. And then you've got a little bit of white peeking out here. So in your white cardstock that you've cut, this would be for card number 7. In your Lost Lagoon foil that you've cut, this is for card number 7. In your Lost Lagoon foil, you have this strip here, which is obviously going to be 5 inches long. And again, you have 2 of everything that you're pulling out. And then you've got your white square for card number 7. And you have your solid cardstock Lost Lagoon for card number 7. And layer. Now I did also pop the squares here, and then I did pop the birds. And these are just generic rhinestones that I got, but they match so perfectly. I got them online, they match perfectly. Because Stampin' Up! Didn't offer anything that I wanted or that I liked for this, so it matched perfectly. I was happy with it. So you see that one's a square and one isn't, and you can do them both squares or both not, or one of each like I did. It is completely up to you. So now you're just layering, and again, notice how small that white border is here. It's like 1/8 of an inch. It's very tiny. It's not big at all, so don't feel like you did it wrong. It is scarcely larger than the foil piece you're using. Card number 8. I feel like there should be a card number 9 and I'm missing one. I'm just counting, or looking, I should say. Maybe not. So for number 8, again, I chose the dark. I did not do the reverse, but it is completely up to you. So again, for each, it's the same sizes. So you've got 2 of your pebbled path, the gray, that again say number 8 in a circle on your cutting guide. 2 white that say number 8, that's, you know, smaller than the gray. Then you've got a pebbled path foil that is slightly smaller than the white again, and again you're going to have 2. You've got a white square left and a gray pebbled path square as well. And all you're going to do is layer. That's it. That's all you have to do. So let me go through these cards for you again one more time. As I grab a drink, it is really hot, not really thirsty. Okay, so I'm going to stand up to get this done. Okay, so you go right ahead and screenshot, or I'm going to see if I can get the glare off. Nope, apparently not. Does that work? Oh, it does. Okay. It's darker, but and now I'm blind because it's right at me. But I think you can see the colors a little bit better. Okay, so again, you can, and this is, again, you can see here, that's the foil, right? It looks like the cardstock when it's down there, but it isn't. So you can screenshot this or pause it or whatever you need to do so that you can see the different layers, or go back and do whatever you need to do. But again, it would be card number 1. It's got a 1 in a circle. So this is the first. There are 2 card number 1s. You've got this one, and then you have the reverse of that one. So they are both card number 1. And then you have card number 2, which is the Fun Fold Slim. So you have this. This. And that. And there's nothing on the back. I mean, there's my number, so I know which sample it is, but there's nothing on the back. And then you have card number 3, and again, there are 2 number 3s. So this is our faux fractured card. So I'm going to leave that there for you. And if you were here, you took some bling home, and if you ordered the kit, then I put some bling in there for you. And if you feel like you don't have enough, just evenly space it. That's all. So I usually do corners first, and then I do in between next, and then I fill in. But I also count. So if I'm not sure that I have enough to do 3, then I'll do 2 instead and just make them a little bit closer. So I would count first. So that's your first one. And your second number 3. And for number 4, we have this card here. And again, on this one, I made the solid Lost Lagoon, the matte for the Pebbled Path foil strip. And on the second card number, did I say 3? That would be 4. Second card number 4, I this time put the strip up here just because I wanted to see which one I liked better. And I do think I like the matte better, but it is completely up to you. Again, it's your card. Card number 5. And the reverse, second card number 5. Card number 6 are our mini slims. And the reverse. But you see how different even just a sentiment makes it, and a color. Number 7, our first one, has the square. Our second one is turned, so it's more diamond shaped. And card number 8 is the same with the exception of the sentiment. So there are a few things I learned. I'm just gonna leave it so that when you pause it, you're good. So some of the things I learned, that a little bling goes a long way, right? Now this isn't bling per se, it's pearls, but really putting eyes on the hummingbird really makes a difference. And I forget the name of this set because I'm still too new to all the Stampin' Up stuff, but you can buy the set with the hummingbird on my website if you so desire. I'm not really big on selling stuff, but I just want to tell you what it is, because a lot of times I get the, well, you know, I'd like to take the class, or what did you use? So I just want you to know what I used. This again is, you would get, I have no more kits, so that's the thing. But if you are a demonstrator and you have bought the guide, or some of the demonstrators, actually, I gave this guide as a gift for free when we started our journey away from close to my heart and towards Stampin' Up. This is, you would get like a pack of Pebbled Path, a pack of Copper Clay, a pack of Lost Lagoon, and the 8.5 by 11 works fine. You'd get white. I don't know if they call it basic white or whisper white anymore. I'm so used to the old way of whisper white. So you'd need white, lots of white. And then this is the tartan foil pack, which I think is only available online. I could be wrong, but it's 6 sheets and you use it and it's $10. It's very affordable. Okay. And this die is not in the set. It is a stamp. And there is a die to cut it out. But this particular die is a die that I had of a hummingbird because mine wasn't coming in time from Stampin' Up! To do these samples. And as a former close to my heart maker, we have a little bit of wiggle room. So it was close enough to the hummingbird that I felt fine in using it and recommending the Stampin' Up! Hummingbird because it is very similar. It's similar in size and it is almost identical in shape. That one though you would stamp in color, and this is a die just meant to be a die. And it just so happened that I had one, so. But I think they're great for masculine cards. I think they're great for generic any day sympathy cards. I think they're great for not just masculine birthday, but if you have, a thank you or something, a get well. Because one of the things that I always say is just feel free to change up those sentiments. I mean, whatever you have, use those. I mean, that's why you have them. You bought them because you either thought you needed them, could use them, or wanted them. So I should really take my own advice, as I know some people are going to say, but yeah, I don't. So there you go. It's our last workshop for the spring/summer of 2024, and I look forward to being back for classes in September, but more importantly, I do look forward to showing you lots more samples of things and play-alongs over the summer. Fingers crossed that I get to that. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining me.